sons and Manu's sons too, when they gathered for the battle at Dharmabhumi, moving round Kurukshetra. Look at this vast army of Pandavas arrayed for the battle by your intelligent disciple and Drupada's son Drishtadyumna. There are great archers and warriors like Bhima and Arjuna in this army. For example, Yuyudhana, Virata, and the valiant king Drupada. There are also Drishtaketu, Chekitana, and the valiant king of Kashi. The two brothers Purujit and Kuntibhoj and the best man Saibya are also there. The valiant Yudhamanyu, the strong Uttamojas, Subhadra's son Abhimanyu, and Draupadi's sons are all mighty warriors. O Vijuttama, now know about the greatest leaders of our side too. For your information, I shall now name the chief warriors and the greatest leaders of our army. Dvijottama, Dveja meaning twice born, are the male members of the Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, and Vaishyas. Dvijottama are the best of these who are born twice, once physically and secondly at the time of Upanayam, sacred thread ceremony. It has you, Dronacharya, Bhishma, Karna, the victorious Kripacharya, Ashwatthama, Vikarna, and the son of Somadatta, Purishrava. There are many other heroes fighting with various weapons and very much skilled in different warfares who are willing to sacrifice their lives for my sake. Our army, guarded by Bhishma, appears limitless, while their army, guarded by Bhima, seems limited. All of you must give full support and protection to Grandfather Bhishma, while you remain firm at your respective positions. Bringing joy to Duryodhana, the eldest of the Kurus, Grandfather Bhishma blew the conch shell, sounding like a lion roar. After that, the conch shells, kettle drums, tabors, trumpets, and cow horns were blown together, which sounded fierce. Then, gracefully seated on their great chariot, pulled by white horses, Lord Krishna and Arjuna blew their divine conch shells loudly. Lord Krishna and Arjuna blew their conch shells named Panchajanya and Devadatta respectively. The brave and adventurous Bhima blew his great conch shell named Pondra. Kunti's son, King Yudhishthira, blew the conch shell named Ananta Vijaya. Nakula and Sahadeva blew their conch shells named Sughosha and Mani Pushpaka respectively. The great archer, king of Kashi, the great chariot rider Shikhandi, Drishtadyumna, King Virata, and the victorious Satyaki, O Lord of the earth, King Drupada, Draupadi's sons, and the mighty son of Subhadra, Abhimanyu, blew their respective conch shells separately. That tremendous sound of the conch shells shattered the heart of the sons of Dhritarashtra as it echoed through the earth and the sky. O king, after seeing all the weapons ready for the battle, Pandu's son Arjuna, who has the sign of Hanumana as his chariot flag, raised up his bow and said this to Lord Krishna. Arjuna said, O Achyuta, please place my chariot in the center of both the armies, so that I can see clearly those who are standing here with an intention to fight and with whom I have to fight in this war. Achyuta, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning the one who is divine. I would like to see all those who have come to fight from the side of evil-minded Duryodhana, son of Dhritarashtra. Sanjaya said, O Bharata, having thus been requested by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up his chariot exactly in the middle of the two armies. Bharata, another name of Dhritarashtra, meaning descendant of King Bharat. Surrounded by Bhishma, Drona, and all the other great rulers of the planet, Lord Krishna spoke, O Partha, look at the members of the Kuru family assembled here. Partha, another name of Arjuna, meaning the son of Pritha, Kunti. Arjuna saw his uncles, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, cousins, sons, grandsons, and other soldiers standing in both the armies, saw his fathers-in-law and well-wishers standing in both the armies. Seeing all of them assembled for the battle, he was filled with deep compassion, and thus spoke these words in sorrow. O Krishna, seeing my relatives and friends assembled for the battle here, my limbs have become weak, my mouth has become dry, my body is shivering, and I am having goosebumps. My bow, Gandiva, is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. My mind is flooded with doubts, and I'm unable to stand. O Keshava, this seems to me as an unfavorable indication. I do not see any good in killing my kinsmen in the battle. O Krishna, I don't want victory, kingdom, or pleasures. O Govinda, what is the benefit of acquiring such kingdom or pleasures? The ones for whom we desire kingdom, enjoyments, and pleasures stand here in the battle, ready to sacrifice their life and wealth. Govinda, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning knower of the self. These are all teachers, fathers, grandfathers, sons, grandsons, uncles, fathers-in-law, brothers-in-law, and other relatives. O Madhusudana, I may be killed by them, yet I do not want to kill them, even for the sake of a kingdom expanding over 3 worlds, let alone the earth. Madhusudana, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning slayer of the demon Madhu. O Janardana, What happiness will we gain from killing these sons of Dhritarashtra? Rather, it will be a sin to kill these trouble creator men. Janardana, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning he who is the favorite of his devotees for fulfilling their desires. Therefore, O Madhava, it is not right for us to kill the sons of Dhritarashtra and our relatives, because how will we be happy after killing our own people? Madhava, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning Lord of Lakshmi. Although these people are overpowered by greed, they see no fault in the destruction of families and no sin in enmity to friends. O Janardana, when we clearly see the destruction of families, then why should we not consider turning away from this sin? The destruction of our dynasty will lead to the destruction of ancient family traditions. If the ancient traditions are lost, then irreligion will take over the coming generations. O Krishna, when irreligion takes over, the women of the house become impure. O Varshaneya, when women become impure, it gives rise to unwanted progeny.
Varshaneya, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning descending from the Vrishni clan.
The intermingling of castes lead the unworthy and the family into hell. Their ancestors fall down into hell because of being deprived of the offerings of rice balls and water. Such evil deeds of the destroyers of the family cause intermingling of castes. Thus, the ancient caste traditions and family customs are destroyed. O Janardana, we have heard that those whose family traditions and values have been destroyed, they are destined to live in hell for an unknown period of time. Alas, in greed for the pleasures of this kingdom, we have involved ourselves in committing a great sin that will lead to the destruction of our race. It would be better for me if the sons of Dhritarashtra kill me with their weapons when I am disarmed and I don't counterattack. Sanjaya said, having said this, heartbroken with grief in the middle of the battlefield, Arjuna dropped his weapons and sank in the center of the chariot. Sanjaya said, seeing Arjuna sinking in grief, filled with compassion, and his vision blurred due to tears in his eyes, Lord Madhusudana spoke these words to him. Lord Krishna said, O Arjuna, how have you developed such an attachment in this moment of crisis? It is inappropriate for a noble person, for it will neither bring you glory, nor will it lead you to heaven. O Partha, don't be a coward. It does not glorify you. O Parantapa, surrender your cowardice and stand up to fight. Parantapa, another name of Arjuna, meaning destroyer of enemies. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, How will I use my arrows to fight against Bhishma and Drona in the battlefield? Oh, Arisudana, both of them are worth worshipping. Arisudana, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning destroyer of foes. I consider it better to survive on alms rather than killing my noble teachers. If I kill them, all my enjoyments of wealth and fulfilled desires in this world will be stained with their blood. We do not even know what to do. Should we win or let them defeat us? Those very sons of Dhritarashtra are standing against us in the battle. By killing whom we shall not want to live. I feel helpless and full of compassion, and I am confused about what my duty is. Therefore, I request you to tell me that which is best for me, because I surrender myself to you. Please guide me as your disciple. Even if I achieve a prosperous and an incomparable kingship on the earth and win over the gods in the heaven, then also it would not take away the sorrow that burns up my senses. Sanjaya said, having spoken this to Lord Krishna, Arjuna said, "O Govinda, I will not fight," and became silent. O descendant of Bharata, Dhritarashtra, then, with a gracious smile, Lord Rishikesha spoke these words to Arjuna, who was depressed in the center of the two armies. Rishikesha, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning the Lord of the senses. Lord Krishna said, "You grieve for those who are not worth being grieved for, and yet you speak like a wise man. But the wise grieve neither for the dead nor for the living." There was never a time in the past when I, you, or these kingsmen did not exist, and nor will there be any time in future when all of us shall not exist. Just like the soul experiences childhood, youth, and old age through this body, it will experience the same when it takes another body. A wise man does not get affected by this. O compare, heat and cold, pleasure and pain, I experienced due to the fortunes of our senses and their objects. They have a beginning and an end, and thus are impermanent. O Bharata, bear them bravely. Kaunteya, another name of Arjuna, meaning son of Kunti. O Purusharshobha, the wise, who remains unaffected by circumstances and accepts pleasure and pain with equanimity, is worth of immortality. Purusharshobha, another name of Arjuna, meaning the superior among men. The untruth doesn't have a permanent existence. There is no dearth of truth which is permanent. The reality of these two has been realized by the wise. You should know this indestructible consciousness, which is all pervasive, nothing can destroy it. The self that resides in these mortal bodies is eternal and indestructible. The body is destructible. Therefore, O Bharata, you fight. He who thinks that the soul kills, and he who thinks of it as death, into existence and never ceases to be again. It is unborn, eternal, everlasting, and most ancient. It never dies, even if the body is dead. O Partha, the one who knows the soul as indestructible, immortal, unborn, and unchanging, how can he kill or cause someone's killing? Just like a man discards his worn-out robes and puts on the new ones, similarly, the soul throws off its worn-out body and enters a new fresh one. The weapons cannot cut the soul. Fire cannot burn it. Water cannot wet it, and wind cannot dry it. The soul cannot be cut, burnt, wetted, or dried up. It is eternal, omnipresent, unchanging, immovable, and most ancient, with an unshakable nature. The soul is said to be unmanifested, unimaginable, and unchangeable. Therefore, you should not grieve after knowing this. O Mahabahu, if you think of the soul as constantly being born and constantly dying, even then you should not grieve. Mahabahu, another name of Arjuna, meaning the mighty armed one. Death is certain for the born, and rebirth is certain for the dead. Therefore, you should not grieve for that which is inevitable. O Bharata, all beings are unmanifest before birth and after death. They appear only during the middle period. So what is there to grieve about in this? Some people see the soul as a wonder. Some describe it as a wonder, and some hear it as a wonder. But even after hearing of it, no one is able to understand it. O Bharata, the soul dwelling in this body is eternal and can never be killed. Therefore, you do not grieve for anybody. Therefore, considering your own duty, you should not be hesitant to fight, because there is nothing greater than a righteous battle for a Kshatriya. Kshatriya, warrior. O Partha, those Kshatriyas are blessed who get an opportunity to fight such a battle that is an open door to heaven. If you refuse to fight this war, then you shall incur the sins for turning away from your duties and honored position. People will talk about your infamy. For a respectable man, infamy is worse than death. The great warriors will think that you have fled from the battlefield out of fear. You will be dishonored by those who once honored you. Your enemies will make fun of your capabilities and mock at your cowardice. What will be more painful for you? You will attain heaven if you get killed in the battle, or enjoy the kingdom if you win. Therefore, O Kaunteya, get up with a determination to fight. Treat happiness and sorrow, gain and loss, victory and defeat with equality, and then get ready for the battle. Thus, you will not incur any sin. O Partha, this knowledge imparted to you is about Sankhya Yoga. Now listen to this wisdom of Karma Yoga, which can get you rid of the bondage knowledge of actions. Sankhya Yoga, path of self-realization. Karma Yoga, knowledge of actions. Here, no effort goes in vain, nor is there any harm. Even a little practice of this Karma Yoga can save one from great fears. O Karunandana, on this path of dharma, the wise mind is single and one-pointed, but the minds of unwise people have many types and endless thoughts. Karunandana, another name of Arjuna, meaning the joy of the Gurus. O Partha, the unwise people speak flowery speeches of the Vedas and claim that there is nothing higher than seeking the heaven as their goal, and describe different rituals and actions to achieve it. Those who get stuck to pleasure and wealth and are carried away by the speeches offering heavenly rewards, they are unable to establish one-pointed conviction in their minds towards the divine. Oh, are these three gunas and the pairs of opposites? Establish yourself only in sattva without any desires of acquisition and protection. Be established in the self. Gunas, qualities. Sattva, the quality of purity and harmony. Just as a water reservoir has no relevance at a place flooded with water all over, similarly, an enlightened Brahmana who has realized the truth doesn't find much relevance in the Vedas. Brahmana, sage. Your right is to only act, but never for the results. Don't let the rewards to be the motive of your actions, nor get attached to inaction. O Dhananjaya, you perform your actions while dropping the attachment, considering success and failure equally, and being established in Karma Yoga. This evenness in mind is called yoga. Dhananjaya, another name of Arjuna, meaning the winner of wealth. Actions performed with attachment to the result are far inferior to the ones performed with wisdom. Therefore, O Dhananjaya, you seek shelter in wisdom. Those who act with a motive of the results are miserable. A wise man discards the good and the evil in this life. Therefore, devote yourself to yoga. It is the real skill in action. The wise, who have given up attachment to the results of their actions and are thus freed from the bondage of rebirth, they reach a place which is beyond all evils. When your intellect goes beyond the entanglements of illusion, then you shall become detached to what has been heard and what is yet to be heard. Confused by the text of the Vedas, when your intellect will stand unshaken and steady in the self, then you shall attain enlightenment. Arjuna asked, O Keshava, what is the description of him who has a steady mind and has attained this state of bliss? How does he speak? How does he sit and walk? The Lord said, O Partha, when a man surrenders all the desires of his mind and remains satisfied in the self by the self, then he is said to be enlightened. The one who is not shaken by pain, has no craving for pleasures, and is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called a sage of steady wisdom. That person who is not bound by attachments and is neither happy nor sad for anything good or bad, his mind is stable. Just as a tortoise withdraws its limbs, the one who withdraws his senses from the sensory objects is known to have steady wisdom. By taking away the senses from its objects, a self-centered man gets detached from the object, but his longing for pleasure continues. However, his longing also disappears once he sees the truth. O Gaunter, even the mind of a wise man is forcefully carried away by his senses in spite of his efforts for keeping it centered. Therefore, having controlled all his senses, one should remain in meditation, concentrated on me as supreme. For the one whose senses are under control, his mind is established in wisdom. Thinking about sensory objects leads to attachment for them. Attachments give rise to desires. Unfulfilled desires bring anger. Anger brings in foolishness that further leads to unclear memory. Unclear memory distracts the intellect and ultimately brings downfall in the state of mind. A self-controlled man, free from attraction and hatred, who moves through the happenings with his senses under control, he attains peace. Having attained peace, he becomes free from misery. Thus, with a peaceful mind, the intellect becomes steady soon. A man with uncontrolled senses and mind can neither have a firm intellect nor can he meditate. There is no peace without meditation. How can there be happiness without peace? When the mind follows the line of objects through the wandering senses, then it takes over a man's wisdom, just as a strong wind takes over a boat on waters. Therefore, O Mahabaho, a person whose senses are under his control, he is said to be established in wisdom. A self-controlled man is awake when it is night for all the beings. When all the beings are awake, it is night for the sage who sees the truth. Even when water from various rivers flows into the ocean, it remains unchanged. Similarly, the self-controlled man who remains unaffected by desires attains peace, not the one who is full of desires. A person who sacrifices his desires moves ahead without any craving, sense of possession, or ego. He attains peace. O Partha, this is the supreme state. Having attained this state, no one is deluded. Being established in this state, one can experience Brahma even at the time of death. Arjuna said, O Janardana, you have said that wisdom is superior to action. Then why do you force me into this terrible act? You confuse my mind with statements that seem to contradict each other. Therefore, please tell me that one definite path by pursuing which I can attain the highest good. The Lord said, O Anagha, in this world, two courses of spiritual practices have been expressed by me in the past. Sankhya Yoga, the path of knowledge, is for intellectuals, and Karma Yoga, the path of actions, is for action-oriented people. Anagha, another name of Arjuna, meaning the one who is sinless. A man does neither attains freedom from action by abstaining from them, nor does he attain perfection merely through inaction. Indeed, no one can ever remain inactive even for a moment, because everyone is helplessly forced to perform actions by the nature-born qualities. The man who controls the senses but mentally keeps thinking about the sensory objects, his mind is deluded and is called a hypocrite. O Arjuna, the one who controls his senses by the mind and begins to practice Karma Yoga by using his senses without any attachment, that person excels. You perform your duties allotted to you, for action is superior to inaction. Even the maintenance of the body is not possible through inaction. O Kaunteya, people in this world are bound by their own actions, except when they are performed for the sake of yajna. Therefore, perform your allotted duties only for the sake of yajna, while being free from attachment. Yajna, a religious ritual, sacrifice, worship, or an act done with a spiritual intention or for a good cause. In the beginning of creation, after creating mankind, along with Yajna, Brahma, the Creator, said to them, you shall prosper through this Yajna, and it will satisfy all your desires. You nurture the gods with this, and may they nurture you. Nourishing one another selflessly, you shall attain the Supreme God. Nourishing the gods with yajna will fulfill all your desires. The one who enjoys the pleasures of the world without offering them to the divine is a thief. The sages who eat remnants of yajna as a gift from the divine are freed from all sins. But the selfish ones who cook only for themselves, they feed on sins only. All creatures grow on food. Food originates from rainfall. Rain originates from yajna, and yajna happens by performing duties. Know that activities come from the Vedas, which originate from the imperishable Brahman. Therefore, the omnipresent Brahman is always present in yajna. O Partha, the one who does not follow the revolving wheel of nature, that is, who does not perform his duties, but instead leads a sinful life of sensual pleasures. He lives a sinful life. However, the man who rejoices only in the self and is contented and satisfied with the self, there remains nothing more for him to accomplish. For such a self-realized person, their actions are neither led by any selfish purpose, nor is there a reason for inaction. He is not dependent upon anyone for anything. Therefore, perform your duties without any attachment, because by doing so, a person attains the supreme. It is only through such actions that King Janaka and other wise men attained liberation. Therefore, keeping the world order, you should also perform your duties. The world follows whatever a great man does. They follow whatever he sets up as the standard. O Partha, there is no duty to be performed by me in the three worlds, nor do I need to attain anything, yet I continue to work. O Partha, if I discontinue to work, then great harm will come to the world, because all men shall follow my footsteps. If I do not engage in action, then the human race will be ruined. Thus, I shall be the cause of destruction of the human race in this world. O Bharata, unlike the ignorant who act with attachment to their action, a wise man should act without any attachment for the well-being of the world. A wise man should not confuse the minds of the ignorant who are attached to their actions. He should rather inspire to perform their duties while he efficiently performs his own. In fact, all the actions are being performed by the qualities of nature, but an ignorant person whose mind is deluded by ego thinks that I am the doer. O Mahabahu, the one who understands the nature of qualities and actions is not attached to the act, because he knows that only the qualities interact among themselves. Those who are deluded by the qualities of nature are attached to those qualities and actions, but the wise should not distract the mind of those with incomplete knowledge. Surrender all your actions to me with your mind focused on the self. Be free from expectations, ego, and guilt, and fight. Those who constantly practice this teaching of mine with full faith and without any unnecessary doubts, even they are freed from the bondage of karma. Karma, actions. However, those who find faults with this teaching of mine and do not practice it, they are ignorant and devoid of knowledge. Consider them to be ruined. Even a wise man acts according to his nature. Every being acts according to its tendencies, then what is the use of restraining? All senses have attraction and repulsion fixed to them. One should not allow himself to be swayed by them, because these too are his enemies. It is better to perform one's own duty, even though imperfectly, than performing others' duty efficiently, because it is better to die performing one's own dharma, but performing another's dharma is dangerous. Arjuna said, O Varshane, then under what influence does a man commit sin against his will? The Lord said, it is desire and anger, both born out of Rajoguna. It is a destroyer and a great sinner. Know this to be a man's enemy. Rajoguna, the quality of activity and passion. Just like fire is covered by smoke, mirror is covered by dust, and an embryo is covered by the anion, so is knowledge covered by desires. O Kaunteya, wisdom is covered by this constant enemy of the wise in the form of lust, desire, which is insatiable like fire. Lust works through the senses, mind, and intellect. It destroys wisdom and overpowers the embodied soul. Therefore, O Bharatarshabha, you should first control your senses and then kill the sinful desires that obstruct knowledge and self-realization. Bharatarshabha, another name of Arjuna, meaning the best of the Bharata race. The senses are superior to the body. The mind is superior to the senses. Beyond the mind is the intellect, and superior to the intellect is the self. O Mahabahu, thus, knowing the self to be superior to the intellect and controlling the mind with the intellect, kill this unconquerable enemy in the form of desire. The Lord said, I taught this immortal yoga to Vivaswan, the sun god. Vivaswan taught this to his son Manu, who further imparted it to his son Ikshvaku. Therefore, O Parantapa, the Rajarishis knew this yoga, which was passed down in continuous succession to them, but with the passage of time, it got lost from the world. Rajarishis, the royal sages. I shall now tell you about the same ancient yoga, which is the supreme secret, because you are my devotee and friend. Arjuna said, your birth was much later than Vivaswan. Then how am I to understand that you imparted this knowledge to him in the beginning? Lord Krishna said, O Arjuna, you and I have taken many births myself through my own yoga maya, keeping my nature under control. Yoga maya, divine powers. O Bharata, whenever there is a decline in dharma and rise of adharma, I incarnate myself. For the protection of the good, the destruction of the evil, and for the establishment of dharma, I take birth in every age. O Arjuna, the one who realizes the divine truth about my birth and action is not born again. He becomes one with me after leaving his body. Thus, he is liberated from the cycle of death and rebirth. Being free from attachment, fear and anger, being absorbed in me, taking refuge in me, and being purified by the penance of wisdom, many have become one with me. O Partha, according to the manner in which people worship me, I respond to them in that very manner. Therefore, all men follow my path in every way. Those who desire success of their actions, they worship the gods because in this world the reward of actions is immediate. The four divisions of the human society were created by me according to the natural distribution of qualities and instincts. Although I am the creator, I myself do not act and am changeless. Four divisions of the human society: Brahmanas, the sages; Kshatriyas, the warrior class; Vaishyas, the merchant class; Shudras, the labor class. Since I have no craving for the fruit of actions, actions do not bind me. Thus, one who knows me in reality is not bound by actions. Having known this, even the ancient seekers of liberation performed selfless actions. Therefore, you also perform your duties like the ancient ones. Even the wise are confused about what is action and what is inaction. Therefore, I shall tell you the truth about action and inaction, by knowing which you shall be liberated from the bondage. It is necessary to know what is the right action, what is wrong action, and what is inaction, because mysterious are the ways of action. The one who sees inaction in action and action in inaction is wise among men. He is a yogi and doer of all actions. Yogi, one who is established in yoga. The wise men call him a sage, whose actions are completely free from desires and resolutions, and whose actions are purified by the fire of wisdom. A person having surrendered his attachment to the fruits of action and being ever content and independent of everything in the world, he is not bound by action, even after being fully engaged in it. A person who has given up all sense of possessions and desires with the mind and intellect controlled, that person performing only bodily actions does not acquire any sin. A person who is content with what comes to him and is free from the dualities and jealousy, with his mind balanced in both success and failure, he is not bound even while performing his actions. The one who is detached and free, whose mind is established in knowledge, and who works only for yajna, his karmas are entirely dissolved. The process of offering and the oblation, both are Brahma. It is offered by Brahma into the fire of Brahma. Brahma is the goal achieved by the yogi, who always sees Brahma in his actions. Some yogis do yajna only in the form of worship to the gods, while others offer the self as a sacrifice in the fire of Brahma. Some sacrifice their sense of hearing, etc., as an offering in the fire of self-control, while others offer the sound and other sense objects as sacrifice into the fire of the senses. Some yogis offer all the functions of their senses and the prana into the fire of yoga in the form of self-control, kindled by wisdom. Prana, life force energy. Some perform yajna through charity, and some perform yajna in the form of penance or through the practice of yoga, while some striving souls observing rigid vows perform yajna in the form of wisdom through the study of sacred texts. Some constantly practice pranayama by governing the movements of the outgoing and the incoming breath. Some offer as a sacrifice the outgoing breath in the incoming breath, or the incoming breath in the outgoing breath. Pranayama, channelizing the life force energy. Some others who have controlled their diet, they offer their prana in the fire of prana. All these have their sins destroyed by yajna and understand the meaning of sacrificial worship. O Kuru Shrestha, those yogis who enjoy the sacrificial remnants attain the eternal Brahma. The people who don't do yajna are not happy even in this world. Then how can they live in the other world? Kuru Shrestha, another name of Arjuna, meaning the best of the Kurus. Similarly, many such forms of yajna have been described in detail in the Vedas. Know them all to be born from actions. This will free you from the bondage of actions. O Parantapa, the yajna of knowledge is superior to material sacrifice, because, O Partha, all actions meet their ultimate end in wisdom. Therefore, you should understand the true nature of that knowledge by approaching a spiritual master. You bow down at their feet, serve them, and question them with an open and sincere heart. Those wise seers of truth will guide you in that knowledge. O Pandava, having attained that enlightenment, you will not not be deluded again, and then you will see the entire creation within yourself and in me. Even if you are the most sinful of all sinners, then also you will cross over the ocean of sins by the boat of knowledge alone. O Arjuna, just as the blazing fire turns fuel into ashes, the fire of knowledge reduces all karma to ashes. There is no purifier as great as knowledge in this world. One who becomes perfect in yoga, he automatically realizes the truth within himself with the passage of time. The one who has mastered his senses is devoted to his practice and has abiding faith. He attains knowledge. Having attained that, he immediately attains the supreme peace. The ignorant, the faithless, and the doubtful one is destroyed. There is neither this world for him, nor the world beyond, nor even happiness. O Dhananjaya, the one who has surrendered all his actions through yoga and whose doubts have been eliminated by wisdom, that man, rooted in the self, is not bound by karma. Therefore, O Bharata, with the sword of knowledge, slay the doubts in your heart that are born out of ignorance. Establish yourself in karma yoga and stand up for the battle. Arjuna said, O Krishna, sometimes you talk of renunciation of actions, and then you also praise the practice of karma yoga. Please tell me that definite superior out of these two that will lead to the highest welfare. Lord Krishna said, Sannyasa and karma yoga both lead to the highest. Lord Krishna said, he who performs all his duties without expecting the fruits of his actions is a sannyasi and a yogi both. The one who has merely abandoned the sacred fire and the one who has given up performing actions is neither a sannyasi nor a yogi. Sannyasi, renouncer. O Pandava, what people call as sannyasa, know it to be yoga, because nobody can become a yogi without sacrificing his sankalpas. Sankalpas, worldly intentions. For the sage who wishes to ascend in yoga, selfless action is said to be the means for him. For the same sage, when he is established in yoga, giving up all his sankalpas is said to be the beneficial means. When a person does not have any attachment for the sense objects or for the actions and has given up all his sankalpas, then he is said to have attained yoga. One should uplift the self by the efforts of his own mind, and not by allowing the self to degrade itself. For the self alone is one's own friend as well as its enemy. The one who has won over the mind, to him the mind is a friend. But for the one whose mind is not yet won by the self, to him the mind acts like an enemy. The one who has won over his mind and whose peace remains equally unaffected by the pairs of opposites such as heat and cold, pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor, such self-controlled sage is rooted in the Supreme Self. The one who is content with the knowledge of the self and the practical wisdom of life, whose senses are completely under control, and to whom a lump of earth, a stone, and gold are the same, he is said to be a yogi. The one who looks with an equal eye upon the well-wishers and the neutrals, the friends and the enemies, the middlemen, the relatives and the hypocrites, the good as well as the wrongdoers, he stands supreme. Living in solitude all by himself, the yogi who has controlled his mind and body and is free from desires and the sense of possession should constantly engage his mind in meditation. Having chosen a clean spot covered with a grass mat, a deer skin, and a cloth, one upon the other, neither too high nor too low, maintaining a firm posture, occupying that seat with one pointed mind, and controlling the functions of the mind and senses, one should practice yoga for self-purification. Self-purification. Holding the body, head and neck erect, remaining firm and fixing the gaze on the tip of the nose, without looking in other directions, being calm-minded, fearless, firm in the vow of celibacy, the yogi should sit devoted to me, with his mind fixed on me. Thus, always keeping the mind balanced, that yogi, with disciplined mind, attains eternal peace, which resides in me. O Arjuna, this yoga is not possible for the one who overeats or who observes complete fast. It is neither for the one who sleeps too much or who is always awake. Yoga becomes the destroyer of pain for him who is moderate in eating and recreation, performs actions appropriately, and is regulated in sleep and wakefulness. When his disciplined mind gets fixed in nothing but the self, then being free from all desires, he is said to be established in yoga. Just like a flame does not flicker in a windless place, similarly, the state of mind of the yogi who is practicing yoga becomes steady while meditating on God. When the mind is controlled through the practice of yoga, it becomes completely peaceful, and when the self is realized by meditating upon the self, the soul rejoices in the self alone. When a yogi experiences that absolute bliss which is beyond the senses and can be grasped only by the purified intellect, being established in that yogi never moves away from the truth. Having attained which, there remains no greater gain, and established in which he is not shaken even by the heaviest of sorrows. That state should be known as yoga, which causes an end to the misery. This yoga should be practiced with determination and a non-depressed mind. Completely giving up all desires arising from sankalpas and restricting all the senses by the mind from all sides, one should gradually withdraw himself from the world with the help of intellect, held by firm determination. Then, fixing the mind on the self, he should not think of anything else. Drawing back the restless and unsteady mind from all those objects after which it runs, one should repeatedly fix it on the self alone. Supreme bliss comes to the yogi whose mind is peaceful, who is sinless, whose quality of rajas has been settled, and who has become one with the Brahma. Thus, always united with the self, free from sin, a yogi easily enjoys the eternal bliss of oneness with the Brahman. The one who is united with the omnipresent universal self sees his own self in all beings, and all beings as his own self. He looks on everything with an impartial eye. The one who sees me present in all beings, and all beings existing within me, he never goes out of my sight, nor do I ever go out of his sight. The yogi who is established in union with me and worships me as residing in all beings, he performs all the actions while being in me. O Arjuna, the one who sees joy and sorrow as the same in all beings, after knowing that the self alone is present everywhere, that yogi is regarded as the highest. Arjuna said, O Madhusudana, due to the restlessness of my mind, I am unable to see the way to achieve stability in this yoga of equanimity, which you have just spoken of. For, O Krishna, this restless and unstable mind is stubborn and powerful. I consider it as difficult to control as controlling the wind. Lord Krishna said, O Mahabaho, no doubt the mind is restless and difficult to control. But, O Kaunteya, it can be controlled with practice and dispassion. I agree that yoga is difficult to attain by the one whose mind is uncontrolled. However, it can be easily attained through practice by the one who has his mind under control and is continuously making efforts. Arjuna said, O Krishna, what happens to the person who has faith but has not been able to control his mind, and who is therefore diverted from yoga and thus fails to attain the perfection in yoga. O Mahabaho, diverted from the path leading to self-realization, and without any support, is he not lost like the scattered cloud, deprived of both self-realization and worldly enjoyments? O Krishna, please remove this doubt of mine completely, for none other than you can eliminate this doubt. Lord Krishna said, O Partha, there is certainly no fall for such a person, neither in this world nor hereafter, for no one who walks the path of good ever meets an evil destiny. Having attained the worlds of the righteous and residing there for eternal years, the man fallen from yoga is born again in the house of the pious and the prosperous. Or, if he is dispassionate, then not attaining to these, he is born in the family of enlightened yogis. But such a birth in this world is very difficult to obtain. O Guru Nandana, then he automatically regains the knowledge that he had acquired in his previous birth and further strives more than before to attain perfection in yoga. The other one, who takes birth in a rich family, though under the sway of his senses, gets drawn towards me by the power of practice acquired by him in his previous birth. The seeker of yoga reaches beyond the result born of performing Vedic rituals. However, the yogi who dedicatedly practices, he attains perfection in this very lifetime with the help of knowledge acquired in previous lifetimes. Thus, being free from sin, he reaches the supreme state. A yogi is superior to those who do penance, to the scholars well versed with the scriptures, and also to those who perform action with some interested motive. Therefore, O Arjuna, become a yogi. Of all yogis, the devoted one who worships me with full faith, with his mind fixed on me, he is the best of all, according to me. Arjuna said, O Purushottama, what is that Brahma? What is Adhyatma? And what is Karma? What is termed as Adibhuta and Adideva? Purushottama, another name of Lord Krishna, meaning the one who is supreme among men. O Madhusudana, who is Adiyagya here, and how does he dwell in the body? How do those with a controlled mind know you at the time of death? Lord Krishna said, Brahma, the Supreme, is indestructible. One's own self is called Adhyatma. The offering which causes existence and manifestation of beings is called karma. O best of the embodied beings, Arjuna, the perishable matter is Adibhuta, and the Purusha is Adideva. I myself dwelling in this body as an inner witness am Adiyagya. Purusha, spirit. Even at the time of death, the one who leaves the body remembering me alone attains me. There is no doubt about it. O Kaunteya, with whatever thoughts one leaves the body at the time of death, that is what he attains as a result of always being occupied in those thoughts only. Therefore, think of me at all times and fight also. With your mind and intellect fixed on me, you will surely attain me only. O Partha, the one whose mind is disciplined through the practice of meditation, thinking about nothing else but only the supremely divine Purusha, he attains that only. The one who meditates on that all-knowing, eternal, the universal sustainer, subtler than the subtle, the ruler of all, having an unimaginable form, radiant like the sun, and far beyond the darkness of ignorance, having firmly held the prana between the two eyebrows at the time of death by the power of yoga, leaves his body while contemplating upon me with devotion. He certainly reaches that supremely divine Purusha. I shall tell you briefly about that supreme goal, which the knowers of the Vedas term as indestructible, which the self-controlled sages merge into, and aiming at which the seekers practice celibacy. Having controlled all the senses, firmly holding the mind in the heart, fixing the prana in the head, remaining dedicated in concentration on God and being established in yoga. He who leaves his body remembering me and uttering the sacred syllable Om attains the supreme goal. O Partha, the focused one who constantly remembers me with an undivided mind, I am easily attainable to that forever devoted yogi. Great souls who have come to me are no more subject to the sorrowful and transitory rebirths, for they have attained the highest perfection. O Arjuna, all the worlds, including the Brahmaloka, are bound to birth and rebirth. But O Kanthea, there is no rebirth on attaining me. Brahmaloka, the heavenly realm of Brahma, the Creator. Those yogis who know that the duration of a day of Brahma is 1,000 yugas, and the duration of his night is another 1,000 yugas, they know about time. Yugas, ages. All the embodied beings manifest from the unmanifest at the beginning of Brahma's day, and at Brahma's nightfall they merge into the same unmanifest. O Partha, this multitude of beings, being born again and again, is dissolved helplessly at the beginning of Brahma's night, and it rises again when his day begins. There is yet another eternal unmanifest existence beyond this unmanifest. That supreme divinity is never destroyed, even when all the beings are destroyed. This unmanifest, which has been spoken of as the indestructible, is the highest goal. That only is my supreme abode, attaining which nobody has to return to this mortal world. O Partha, the God in whom all the beings and this whole world pervade, that unmanifest supreme Purusha is attainable only through one-pointed devotion. O Bharatarshava, I shall now tell you the time departing at which yogis do not return, and also the time departing at which they do return. At the time of death, the yogis who depart when there is fire and daylight during the bright half of the fortnight and the 6 months of the northward course of the sun, they reach the Brahma. At the time of death, the yogis who depart when there is darkness of smoke and night, during the dark half of the fortnight, and the 6 months of the southward course of the sun, they attain the light of the moon and return back to this mortal world. Shukla Paksha and Krishna Paksha, these two paths of departing from this world have always existed. Departing by the first, there is no return, and departing by the second, one has to return to this mortal world. Shukla Paksha, the bright half of the fortnight. Krishna Paksha, the dark half of the fortnight. O Partha, any yogi who knows about these two paths is not deluded. Therefore, O Arjuna, you become completely established in yoga in all the times. Having known the truth about these two, a yogi transcends all merits that one can get from the study of the Vedas or by yajna, penance, or charity. He attains the supreme state.